Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Hashimah binti Ros with the matrix number A2483156. Today, I will discuss how private consumption serves a primary engine for Malaysia's national income based on the provided case study. According to chapter number 2 of our module, national income is the total value of all goods and services produced in a country in the aggregate expenditure approach discussed in chapter 3. We see that national income, which is Y, is determined by the total spending of four sectors: households, firms, government, and foreign sector, which is X minus M. Private consumption is usually the most significant and stable part in this equation. Looking at the case study from New Straits Times, we see a very positive trend in Malaysia. Despite a global dim outlook, companies like Apple and Harvey Norman are expanding. Why does it matter? There this store open and Mydin's report higher footfall in it's significant that private consumption is rising. As Dato' Amir Ali, Mydin mentioned, higher commodity prices increase the disposable income in rural population, allowing them to spend more. If you look at the graph on my poster, I used the Kishanen's cross AE minus Y model from chapter 3. Okay, the 45-degree line represents the equilibrium where national incomes equal to aggregate expenditure, Y equal to AE. The blue line is our starting point. Because consumers are spending more, the autonomous consumption increase, shifting the entire line upward to the red line, which is AE1. Notice the results. The equilibrium point moved from E0 to E1. On the horizontal axis, you can see that the national income, Y, has increased from Y0 to Y1. In summary, private consumption is crucial because it creates a multiplier effect. When we spend at Mydin or Apple, those business earns revenue, pay employee, and expand, which further boosts the total national income of Malaysia. This is why analysts call it the bright spark of the economy.
Number 2, calculating national income and disposable income. For this question, for national income, we got RM 369 billion. And for disposable income, we got RM 248 billion. In the case above, explain how the private consumption will influence the aggregate supply, increase in a total number of outlets, and aggregate demand. Okay, first, private consumption plays an important role in influencing both aggregate demand and aggregate supply in the economy. Okay, based on the case study, the increase in consumer spending has encouraged companies such as Mydin, Apple, and Harvey Norman to expand their business by opening more outlets in Malaysia. When households spend more on goods and services, the overall demand in the economy increases. Okay, next, in terms of the aggregate demand, private consumption is the largest component of AD. The case shows that consumers are spending more due to stronger commodity prices, higher disposable income, lower unemployment, and the reopening of China's borders. Okay, as a result, business experience higher sales and profits. For example, Mydin record a 10% increase in customer footfall compared to pre-pandemic levels. At the same time, raising private consumption also affects aggregate supply. When firms observe increasing demand and positive market conditions, they expand production capacity by opening new stores and hiring more workers. For instance, Heavy Norman plans to open 52 new stores, while Maydin plans to open additional outlets in 2026. Furthermore, the expansion of business encourages investment in infrastructure, technology, and human capital, which further improves the country's productive efficiency. The growth aggregate supply helps stabilize prices while supporting long-term economic growth. My name Nabira, anak perempuan Sampang. My matric number is A04A3096. When the Malaysian government increased spending on healthcare and education, aggregate demand will increase because government expenditure is an important component in the AD formula. This spending acts as an injection into the economy through projects such as building hospitals, improving schools, and paying salaries to doctors and teachers. As a result, demand for the labour and resources increased, leading to higher national output, higher income, and more job opportunities. Business respond to the higher demand by increased production to meet consumer need. Economic activity grow and is strengthened by the multiple effect, where increased income lead to more spending throughout the economy. This also relate to private consumption because when people earn more income, they tend to spend more on goods and services. Investment in healthcare and education improve the quality of the workforce by increasing skill, knowledge, and productivity. A healthy and more educated workforce and can work more efficiently, which help to expand the country's productive capacity and support sustainable economic growth. Overall, increased government spending on healthcare and education help to stimulate economic growth, create employment opportunities, and improve Malaysia's long-term economic development.
Moving on to the question number 2, I will explain the concept of fiscal policy and why it is so critical for Malaysia right now. Based on chapter number 3 on our lecture notes, fiscal policy is a tool used by the government to manage the economy. It works by adjusting two main levels: how much the government spends, G, and how much it collects the taxes, T. In our case study, the SERC mentions that government needs a credible fiscal reduction plan. This means using fiscal policy to control the budget deficit, because currently the federal debt is at a high record of RM 1.007 trillion. Why does the government do this? According to chapter number 1, there are several macroeconomics objectives. First, economic growth. The government spends on development projects to keep the economy growing, so it is expected to slow down to 4.1% this year. Second, price stability. This case mentions a cost living crisis. Fiscal policy such as targeted fuel subsidy is used to protect citizens from high inflation. Third, investor confidence. This is crucial point from the article. If the government has a persistent deficit, it shakes the confidence of investors. By practicing fiscal discipline, the government ensures the country remains attractive to foreign business. The article suggests two specific fiscal actions. First, increasing revenue. Reintroducing the GST, which is goods and tax and service tax. The second one is reducing expenditure, which is subsidy regionalization, like moving to targeted electricity and fuel subsidies. These actions are aimed to achieving a balanced budget and ensuring the government can weather future financial shocks. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Ashraf Shafiqah binti Muhammad Asri. My metric number is 824-83499. Future expectations play a crucial role in determining how effective fiscal policy is. When people feel confident about economic growth and stability, they are more willing to spend and invest. This positive mindset strengthens the impact of government action such as increasing spending and infrastructure because business expect higher demand and expect their operation. On the other hand, negative expectation can weaken fiscal policy if individuals fear higher tax, inflation, or economic instability that tend to save more and delay investment. As a result, even if the government increasing spending, the overall impact on the economy become limited. Government that also influence expectation, raising that level might create concept about future tax burden, causing investor to become cautious. Finally, policy credibility is essentially clear and transparent policy build trust, encouraging economic participation, and making fiscal policy more effective. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Shafiq Ahmad bin Romli. My metric number is A24A3131. Next, I will present question number 3 about the equilibrium level of income. For part A, we first determine whether the economy is in equilibrium. Using the formula AE equals C plus I plus T, aggregate expenditure equals 190. While national income is 200, since aggregate expenditure is less than national income, the economy is not in equilibrium. Next, we calculate the equilibrium income using the equation Y equals C plus I plus G. After substituting the value into consumption function, we get an equilibrium income of Y equals 150. This means the current national income of 200 is higher than equilibrium level. As a result, there will be excess supply or overproduction in the economy. Firm may respond by reducing production, causing income to fall until equilibrium is achieved. For part B, the full employment level of income is 700. The recessionary gap is 700 minus 150 equals 550. To close this gap, the government should use expansionary fiscal policy. This can be done by increasing government spending or reducing taxes. Using the multiplier formula, K equals 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, which is equals 1 divided by 0.2, so the multiplier is 5. Then delta Y equals K times delta G. 550 equals 5 times delta G. Therefore, the required increasing in government spending is 110 billion ringgit. In conclusion, the economy is currently below full employment and government intervention is needed to increase aggregate demand and achieve economic stability.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nur Nasra binti Ibrahim and my metric number is A24B2866. My part is question 3, which is part C and D. For question C, the government starts spending RM30 billion every year while investment remains constant. After calculating using the equilibrium income formula, the new equilibrium income becomes RM300 billion. Besides that, consumption increased to RM240 billion and saving becomes RM30 billion. This situation shows that when government spending increases, aggregate demand and national income in the economy will also increase. Next, for question D, investment increased from RM30 billion to RM100 billion. Using the multiplier effect with MPC equal to 0.8, the new equilibrium national income becomes RM650 billion. This means that an increased investment will create bigger increase in national income and help stimulate economic growth. In conclusion, both government spending and investment play an important role in increasing equilibrium income and supporting the country's economic growth.
My name is Nuraina Maisara. My metric number A248326. I will discuss about factors affecting domestic economic growth in Malaysia. The first one, moderating exports can slow down economic growth because demand from foreign countries decreases. When exports decline, company sales and national income will also decrease. Second, the normalization of domestic demand means customer spending becomes stable after a period of high spending. This can reduce business income and slow economic activities. Third, inflation and high cost of living reduce customers' purchasing power. People will spend less on goods and services because prices are increasing. As a result, economic growth may slow down. The last one, higher interest rates make borrowing more expensive for households and businesses. This reduces spending and investment activities, which can negatively affect economic growth.